Jimin bluntly calls Jungkook selfish on live TV. Jungkook's response leaves everyone speechless. When Jimin accuses Jungkook of being selfish on live television, Jungkook's heartfelt apology shatters silence and reveals the cracks in their friendship. "Why have you shut me out like I'm just another chore on your endless to-do list?" Jimin's voice cut through the studio lights like a blade, each word amplified by the hush that fell over the audience. Jungkook's fingers tightened on the armrest, knuckles whitening. Cameras zoomed in on his face, jaw clenched, eyes flickering with something Jimin had never seen before: raw pain. The host shifted uncomfortably. For weeks, fans had speculated about tension between BTS's Golden Magne and their silver-voiced lead dancer. Tonight's Truth Hour special was meant to clear the air, but no one expected Jimin's confession to erupt like live fireworks. Background unfolding through action. A flashback. 3 nights earlier, Jungkook had disappeared from the group chat mid-planning for their charity livestream. He stayed holed up in the practice room, eyes bloodshot from rehearsing choreography over and over. His ambition to deliver perfection had become an obsession. Back in the present, Jimin rose from his seat, heart pounding as he met Jungkook's storm cloud gaze. "You've been so focused on chasing flawless takes, you forgot what it means to be my brother, our brother." A collective gasp rattled the studio. Even the crew exchanged glances. The boom mic hovered mid-air, capturing the silence that slammed into Jungkook like a physical blow. Internal turmoil and rising stakes. Inside Jungkook's mind, memories flickered. Late nights alone, the soft ping of missed group texts, "Jimin's worried, are you okay?" ignored. He buried doubts under layers of self-criticism, convinced that if he just outperformed himself, he'd banish all judgment. Yet hearing Jimin's accusation, it cracked something deep. The rebellion of his own heart against his relentless standards. He inhaled, voice husky. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "I got lost trying to be perfect. I forgot how to be a friend." Silence stretched until the host cleared his throat, stepping in to diffuse the tension. But for Jungkook and Jimin, time had frozen. Jimin's thumb froze mid-swipe as the screen glowed with that chilling promise. "We know what happened that night. Are you ready?" His heart thundered in his chest, a drumbeat too loud for the hushed studio. Jungkook's apology still echoed in his ears, fragile, regret-laden, and now this cryptic summons threatened to fracture every fragile piece of trust they'd just begun to rebuild. Without looking at the host or the cameras, Jimin leaned toward Jungkook. His voice was barely a whisper. Do you know who this is?" Jungkook's eyes, still rimmed with shame, flickered with alarm. He shook his head, voice low and urgent. "No, this number isn't familiar." The studio lights felt oppressive now, like spotlights scorching secrets into full view. Behind them, the audience shifted, phones out attempting to capture any scrap of drama. Jimin slid from his stool, pressing himself against the sleek white wall that separated the stage from the backstage corridor. Jungkook followed, the echo of his steps a drumroll of dread. "Let's step back," the host murmured, but Jimin pressed a finger to his lips. The cameras continued rolling, their glowing red eyes never blinking. It was as if retreat was impossible. They were prisoners to their own confession. In the narrow hallway, Jimin exhaled, chest trembling. This isn't about my accusation," he said, turning his phone so Jungkook could see the screen. Jungkook swallowed, throat tight. Who would have dirt on us from that night? Their memories swung back to a rooftop after party 3 months ago, laughter echoing off concrete, a clumsy step backward, a flash of fear as Jungkook nearly tumbled over the railing. Jimin had reached out, catching him by the sleeve, the kind of intimate moment no one else was supposed to know. They'd agreed never to mention it. It was a secret pact forged in adrenaline and relief. Now someone had weaponized that memory. A faint buzz indicated the message had been replied to. Jimin's hands shook as he tapped it open. "It's time the world saw you truly raw. Tonight." He looked up. Jungkook's jaw was set, eyes blazing with anger and fear in equal measure. "They want proof," Jungkook said. "They want video." Jimin's blood ran cold. A hidden camera? A leaked clip of a private moment? The betrayal cut deeper than any fan rumor. "We can't let that happen," Jimin whispered. But his tone betrayed him. He sounded helpless. Jungkook squared his shoulders. "We need to control this narrative. If they leak footage, it'll obliterate everything. Our friendship, our reputation, our own peace of mind." He narrowed his gaze down the corridor. "Help me find who did this." Jimin's throat tightened. "Together," he vowed. And with that silent pact renewed, they returned to the studio. The host, breathing a quiet sigh of relief, ushered them back on stage. The audience cheered reflexively, oblivious to the storm brewing beneath their idols' composed exteriors. Let's take a short break, the host announced, voice overly bright. Up next, an exclusive dance challenge with Jungkook. Jungkook forced a grin, the same practice smile he used for choreovids. Jimin followed suit, but his mind raced. Behind the studio's glossy veneer, he and Jungkook were targets. Backstage, the green room was dim, plush sofas lined in a semicircle. Crew members hustled past with cables and light meters. Jungkook and Jimin slipped inside, slamming the door shut. Jungkook paced, each step a pin-up storm. We can't ignore this. We need to find the source. He flicked through his recent messages, nothing flagged. Did you share that rooftop clip with anyone? Even as a backup? Jimin shook his head emphatically. It's on my phone, locked. I haven't opened that album in months. He swallowed a wave of guilt. But what if someone at that party recorded it? I let the security guard film us dancing for fun. Maybe he saved more. Jungkook's gaze hardened. Find that guard. Now. He reached into his pocket, pulling out his agency-issued phone. Direct lines, VIP contacts, priority. He hit speed dial for their head of security. Ask every guard who was on duty that night. No excuses. Jimin exhaled, urgency sharpening his features. Right. Silence fell as they waited. The hum of air conditioning masked the pounding of their hearts. Finally, Jimin's phone vibrated. Call me. Urgent. The guard's name blinked on the screen. He answered. Mr. Park. Jimin SSI, the guard's voice trembled. I didn't know how to say this, but I did record more that night. You stumbled near the railing. I thought you fell. I panicked and stopped filming. I saved the clip in case you needed it. Jimin closed his eyes. Did anyone else see it? Did you send it? No. Park's tone was frantic. I kept it private. But someone hacked my phone last week. I lost everything. Jungkook's fists clenched. Where do you live, Park SSI? We need that file. Park hesitated. It's in my cloud backup. But I'm off duty. I'm at home right now. My computer's being fixed. Jungkook exchanged a look with Jimin. We're coming to you. He ended the call. In the taxi en route to Park's apartment, Jungkook stared out the window at neon signs bleeding into the night. The city pulsed with life, unaware of the secret about to surface. Jimin sat beside him, silent, restless. Memories of that night haunted him. The echo of Jimin's laughter, Jungkook's outstretched hand, and the perilous slip that nearly cost him everything. When they arrived, Park's modest apartment building appeared ordinary. Faded paint, buzzing intercom. Inside, the guard's small living room was littered with tools and spare computer parts. Park welcomed them, eyes flicking nervously to a locked door. We'll get that backup, Jungkook said firmly. Park led them to a battered laptop perched on a folding table. The screen flickered as he typed a password. Jungkook hovered over him, anxious. Jimin pressed a reassuring hand on Jungkook's shoulder. Seconds dragged. Then a folder icon appeared, Rooftop Night. Park double-clicked. The video thumbnail showed a dark rooftop, two figures in silhouette. He played it. The camera wobbled as Park's gloved hands shook. Jimin watched himself steadying Jungkook by the railing. The download progress bar crept forward. Suddenly, Park's face went pale. Wait, there's another folder. He clicked deeper, revealing a hidden file, conversation.mp4. Jungkook's brow furrowed. What's that? Park swallowed. I don't know. I must have recorded audio separately. I didn't realize. Jimin pressed play. They listened. Faint laughter, the scrape of shoe rubber against concrete, and then Jimin's voice, soft, scared, JK, be careful. But beneath that, a second track, urgent footsteps, a hushed male voice saying, we have everything we need. Then static. Jimin paled. Someone was there besides us. Jungkook's jaw clenched. They recorded us deliberately. Park gulped. I'm sorry. I can delete these files. Jimin shook his head. No, we need them. This proves someone else was lurking, someone who meant to blackmail us. Jungkook nodded. He opened his phone and began copying both files. We'll shut this down. Back at the studio, the green room was empty now. The next segment, Dance Challenge with Jungkook, had started early. Jimin and Jungkook slipped in through a side door, video file secure. They burst onto the stage mid-beat. Jungkook's solo routine halted. He slumped. The choreographer stopped, mid-count. The host's mic crackled. Everything okay? The host asked, eyebrows arching. Jungkook clenched his fist, sweat beading along his hairline. He turned to the host, voice trembling though resolute. There's been a breach of privacy. Someone recorded Jimin and me intentionally that night. We have the evidence. I won't perform until we address it. The audience murmured. Jimin stepped forward, chest tight. We're taking a moment. I need you all to understand, this isn't just about a private moment. It's about trust, respect, and our right to safety, even as public figures. The studio lights dimmed until only the giant LED screen at the back glowed. Jungkook tapped his phone. The rooftop footage appeared, grainy but unmistakable. The audio file followed. The audience stilled, phones raised, faces a mixture of shock and sympathy. Jimin swallowed. We're asking whoever did this to come forward. No more secrets. His gaze locked on the camera. To the person who hacked Park SSI's phone, we know you're out there. Stop now, or face the consequences. Silence rippled, pregnant, charged. Jungkook's apology from the previous episode resurfaced in memory. I forgot how to be a friend. Now, flanked by Jimin, he shielded him. This time, they faced the threat together. As the lights snapped off and the studio plunged into darkness, an unseen figure watched the live feed on a laptop across town. A slow smile curved on their lips. Round 2, they whispered. Let's see how they handle the fallout. And in that silence, Jimin and Jungkook realized this battle was only just beginning. The security monitor's red recording light pulsed like a heartbeat as Jimin and Jungkook huddled over the livestream clip, the audience's stunned faces frozen in time. Jungkook's phone buzzed violently, another anonymous tip. A link to a shadowy social media account with a freshly posted teaser. They tapped it open together. On the darkened screen flickered a 30-second video, Jimin's voice, layered over grainy rooftop footage, saying, "Maybe you don't care about us at all." But his tone was clipped, loaded with accusation, nothing like the gentle concern Jimin had voiced. Comments exploded beneath. Jimin throws JK under the bus? Is their friendship over? Betrayal. Jungkook's chest tightened. He yanked at his collar. They're twisting my apology and your words. They want chaos. Jimin swallowed hard, lip trembling. The studio's hum felt suddenly deafening. He remembered that rooftop night, Jimin's whispered worry, not anger. Now someone had cut and spliced his voice to look confrontational. The host's voice crackled through backstage speakers. Guys, are you ready for the next segment? Jimin closed his eyes for a moment, then opened them in steel. Tell them we need a minute. Important. Stepping onto the stage, Jungkook raised a gloved hand. The camera's whirred, the lights flickered. The audience leaned forward. Jimin joined him, side by side. Jungkook swallowed, voice steady. We're facing a person who's not just spying on us. They're manipulating what we say. This clip is false. It's meant to pit us against each other. A ripple of disbelief passed through the crowd. Phones recorded every word. Jimin took a breath. He looked directly into the camera, as though into each fan's eyes. I will not let someone destroy our bond with lies. Backstage, the head of security, Mr. Park, burst in. We traced the IP address. It's coming from inside the studio network. Jimin's heart hammered. An insider? Park nodded grimly. Someone with access to our feeds, someone on the crew. Jungkook's eyes flashed. Find who's been editing on the control panel logs. Now. Moments later, Park reappeared, holding a tablet. There's one user account, Control Room Op, active during both uploads and the live feed leakage. Jimin's breath caught. The control room operator was someone they'd trusted to manage lights and camera angles, someone they joked with during rehearsals. Security, Jungkook ordered, lock down the control room. Don't let anyone in or out. Jimin and Jungkook exchanged a tense glance, dread filling the space between them. The host ushered them off stage, promising the audience they'd resume shortly. In the labyrinthine corridors behind the sets, they followed Park to a metallic door marked Control Room. Inside, rows of screens displayed multiple camera angles. The operator's empty chair faced a keyboard slick with fingerprints. Park pointed to a terminal showing recent edits. Jungkook tapped the screen. A timeline of spliced clips, Jimin's calm reassurance recut into biting accusation. Each cut deliberate. Footsteps approached. A young technician, pale and sweat-soaked, pushed the door open. Jimin SSI? Jungkook SSI? His voice trembled. I swear I didn't do it. Someone else logged into my station after I left for a break. Jimin's pulse thundered. What do you mean? The technician's eyes flicked to a security camera feed. A masked figure slipping past the green room an hour ago. Badge clipped to their belt, Park's badge. Jungkook's jaw clenched. He turned to Park. Explain. Park's face went ashen. I did this. Jimin staggered backward as if struck. Jungkook's breath caught. Park swallowed hard, eyes glistening. I only wanted to protect you both. I thought if I leaked that rooftop clip without the apology, the public would see Jungkook's struggles, sympathize, no one would blame you for any mistakes. But I got carried away. I lost control. Silence crashed around them. Jimin's vision blurred. Jungkook's shoulders sagged. Why? Jimin's voice cracked. Why betray us? Tears welled in Park's eyes. Because I was a fan before I was your guard. I thought if I could make people care more about you, they'd love you even harder. But I was selfish. Jungkook's gaze softened, but his voice remained firm. You broke our trust, too. A siren wailed, a security team rushing in. The masked figure from the footage was herding Park away in cuffs. Jimin pressed a hand to his chest, heart pounding. Jungkook slipped an arm around his shoulders. Under the harsh white lights of the control room, they stood together, two idols whose friendship had been tested by ambition, fear, and betrayal. Jimin lifted his head. We'll fix this, he vowed quietly. Jungkook nodded, eyes bright with fierce determination. No more secrets. They stepped out, side by side, back into the glare of the studio cameras. The audience's cheers washed over them, but for Jimin and Jungkook, this was only the calm before the next storm. The flash of 1,000 camera bulbs was a blinding avalanche of light the moment Jimin and Jungkook stepped back on stage. They froze, drenched in spotlights, the audience's roar crashing over them like surf against rocks. Jimin's pulse thundered, every heartbeat a drumbeat of fear, and Jungkook felt his knees go weak beneath the weight of expectation. Ladies and gentlemen, the host stammered, voice trembling as he raised a hand. We apologize for the interruption. But the crowd's cheers fractured into shouts of confusion as phones lifted to record the idol's unsteady return. Jungkook swallowed past the lump in his throat. He glanced at Jimin, who stood rigid, pale as moonlight, and reached for his friend's hand. The simple touch grounded him, anchoring them both against the storm. Without warning, the giant LED screen behind them flickered to life. Not the rooftop footage this time, but a screen cap of a private text message thread, Jimin's phone number at the top, lines of conversation about therapy, self-doubt, and a crushing admission. I'm scared I'm losing who I was before all this. A collective gasp pulsed through the audience. Whispers bloomed into a wave. Is that Jimin's personal therapy? Why did he text that stranger? What's happening to them? Jimin's cheeks burned. He stepped forward, larynx rasping. That was private. No one had the right, his voice cracked, and the host hastily cut the feed, plunging the studio into hushed disarray. Jungkook pressed a finger to his earpiece, security chatter, panicked. He locked eyes with Jimin. We have to stop this, he hissed. Again, they bolted off stage, adrenaline setting their legs to flame. Backstage corridors twisted like a labyrinth, crew members scuttling past with cables and notes. Jimin's throat felt raw. Jungkook's mind raced, furious and defiant. Who had accessed his friend's deepest fears and thrown them into the spotlight? In the dim glow of the green room, Jimin sank onto a vinyl couch, fingers trembling as he covered his face. Jungkook crouched beside him. Every fiber of his being bristled with protectiveness. Hey, he whispered, voice softer than the roar of that audience. You're not alone. Jimin uncovered his eyes, dark pools shimmering. I trusted the process, he said, voice brittle. I thought they'd stop after Park, but his gaze drifted to the floor. Someone else is pulling the strings. Jungkook's jaw clenched. They're trying to break you down, make you doubt yourself so the world does, too. He stood, pacing the cramped space. I'm not letting them win. We fight back together. Jimin rose, resolve igniting behind his exhaustion. He pressed a hand to Jungkook's shoulder. Together, they stormed toward the production office, where monitors scrolled social media feeds in real time. A young assistant hovered, face pale, typing frantically. It's viral, she blurted. Hashtag Jimin exposed therapy is trending worldwide. Leaked from our servers. Jungkook spun to the assistant, anger sparking in his eyes. Who would do that? The assistant's voice trembled. It wasn't Park. His badge was used, but the breach came from the main control hub, someone with admin access. Jimin's stomach twisted. Admin access? That's above security. A sudden chill seeped into the room. Jungkook realized this was no lone saboteur. It was orchestrated from the top. Without another word, they stormed through a final door marked Main Control. Inside, rows of terminals glowed like tombstones in the dark. A single silhouette hunched at the central station. The figure rose slowly as they entered, a woman in a crisp agency blazer, hair pinned back, expression unreadable. Ms. Han, Jungkook said, voice low and urgent. You gave the order, didn't you? Ms. Han's lips curved into a polite smile. I'm just, ensuring maximum engagement. You both owe so much to your fans. They deserve every piece of your truth. Her eyes gleamed with cold calculation. And truth, as we know, can be painful. Jimin's hands trembled. This is torture, psychological warfare. She shrugged. In this industry, authenticity is currency. If we wring tears from the crowd, we profit. Jungkook stepped forward, voice fierce. You're exploiting our pain. Our lives aren't your ratings. Ms. Han's gaze flickered, just a moment of doubt, then steel crept back. Oh, but they are. And the next leak goes live in 10 minutes. Jimin felt nausea spike. What is it? Ms. Han tapped a tablet. A voice memo. Of Jungkook, recorded during rehearsals, confessing that he's terrified of failure, that he's considered quitting the group. Jungkook's heart slammed into his ribs. He had whispered that late one night, trusting only the empty studio. And now, Jimin drew in a ragged breath. We can't let them destroy us from the inside. Jungkook's eyes met Jimin's. The world outside would judge them, but here, now, they were two friends united against betrayal. We need to control the narrative, he said, voice steady with determination. We go live. Right now. Ms. Han's smile faltered. You can't, corporate will. Jungkook cut her off. Watch us. They strode out of the control room into the studio's cavernous expanse as studio lights blinked back on. The director's voice crackled over intercom. Return to positions for an emergency live segment. Jimin and Jungkook moved in unison to the center stage. The giant screen behind them remained black, a pregnant void. The host reappeared, eyes wide but compliant. Our idols have asked for an impromptu confessional. Jungkook lifted the mic. The hush was suffocating. Tonight, you've seen us at our lowest. But our truths, our fears are not for sale. His voice rang out, unwavering. I am afraid of letting you down, but I will not quit. Not ever. Jimin stepped forward, voice clear and firm. I have sought help for my anxiety because I want to be stronger for you, for Jungkook, and for myself. There's no shame in seeking support. A wave of stunned silence gave way to applause, soft at first, then swelling into a roar of solidarity. Viewers at home flooded social media with #StandWithJKanJM. Backstage, Ms. Han watched, mouth open. She swallowed, realization and remorse flickering behind her eyes. Jungkook exhaled, adrenaline and relief mingling in his veins. He turned to Jimin. We did it. Jimin nodded, tears glinting under the lights. Together. As the applause thundered around them, they knew the road ahead would still be treacherous, but side by side, they had reclaimed their narrative. And somewhere beyond the studio walls, the true mastermind watched their defiance and plotted the next move. The fluorescent glow of Jimin's phone screen flickered as the notification arrived. Breaking, exclusive, behind-the-scenes audio leaked. The link opened to reveal a dimly lit rehearsal room where Jungkook's trembling confession, earlier deemed off-limits, played without context, stripped of Jimin's protective framing. The crowd's reaction was instantaneous. Outrage, pity, betrayal. Jimin's heart pounded. He looked up to see Jungkook's reflection in the mirror behind him, eyes rimmed red, features drawn tight. Without a word, Jungkook switched off the device, plunging the room into silence that rang louder than any siren. They were alone now in the sprawling practice studio, polished floors stretching beneath vaulted ceilings, the echo of their footsteps swallowed by heavy curtains. The scent of sweat and chalk lingered in the air, a reminder of countless hours spent chasing perfection. Jungkook sank onto the edge of the bar, pulling his knees close. Jimin lingered by the entrance, fingers trailing along the cool metal frame of the door, a barrier between sanctuary and battlefield. This isn't just manipulation, Jimin said softly, voice fracturing. They know exactly how to hurt us. His reflection in the mirror fragmented, as if the glass itself bore the cracks of these betrayals. Jungkook pressed his palm against the mirror, fingertips splayed, as though trying to hold himself together. They found a way inside our walls, he murmured. It's relentless. His gaze dropped to the gray dance shoes at his feet, once symbols of grace, now anchors of dread. Behind the reflected rows of lights, the studio door creaked. Mr. Park appeared, escorted by 2 security guards. His uniform was crisp, posture stiff, guilt-etched in every line of his face. I've traced the audio's origin, he said, voice hollow. It's not corporate servers this time. It's coming from someone live streaming inside the building. Jimin's breath hitched. Inside? He glanced at Jungkook, who rose, tension coiling in his shoulders. An insider has to be filming us again. Park nodded, eyes darting to the shadows. I've organized a sweep of every corridor, every office. But he hesitated, lips pressed thin. "I can't guarantee you will find them before the next leak." In that moment, the distant thrum of machinery shifted, cameras whirring to life in empty hallways, red lights blinking on surveillance units. The guard ushered them out as if the studio itself had turned predator. They followed Park through a labyrinth of back corridors, doors labeled wardrobe, sound booth, executive. Jimin's senses sharpened, the click of Park's boots, the hum of the air vents, a faint metallic scent that hinted at panic. Around each corner, shadows lengthened, hiding watchers in plain sight. They paused outside the office of their manager, Mr. Choi. Glass walls revealed his silhouette hunched over a desk. Jimin exchanged a glance with Jungkook, hesitation flickering in his eyes before determination flared. Together, they pushed the door open. Inside, Mr. Choi looked up, startled. Behind him, a high-definition monitor showed live feeds from cameras scattered throughout the building. On the screen, they watched the rehearsal footage slicing into news report captions. Choi stood abruptly, chair scraping. "They're using my control panel," he said, voice rough. "I thought only Ms. Han had that level of access." Jungkook's fists clenched at his sides. "Someone's framing everyone," he said. "They want us so vulnerable we'll break." Choi pressed his palm to his temple. "Our PR team is scrambling, but leaks are outpacing us. They're targeting your most private moments, the therapy sessions, our rooftop fall, your fears. They know every crack." Jimin's throat tightened. "We need to turn this around," he said. "If they keep unearthing hidden wounds, there's nowhere left to hide." A sudden ping echoed from Choi's keyboard. He glanced at the screen, eyes widening. There's a folder labeled Raw Confession. I didn't authorize it." He clicked. A timer began counting down from 60 seconds. Jimin's pulse thundered. "What is that?" Choi's voice dropped. "It's a live transmission to every network partner we have. In 1 minute, they'll broadcast every candid word you ever spoke, unfiltered. No edits, no context." Jungkook's breath stuttered. He stepped forward, voice sharp. "Then we own it. We go live now, uncut, unashamed." He turned to Jimin. "Our terms." Jimin's eyes met Jungkook's. The fierce protection there ignited something in him. He nodded once. "Together." Choi hesitated. "If you do this, corporate will freak. They might suspend the show." He looked from one to the other, seeing the steel in their gazes. "You'll have to override protocol." Park cleared his throat. "I can loop the security override, but it'll shut down the control room's backup systems." Jimin took a deep breath, the air tasting faintly of ozone and adrenaline. "Risk everything. We reclaim our narrative." The timer hit 10 seconds. A hush fell across the monitor screens. 3, 2, 1. They burst through the control room doors and into the main studio as the red, live light blinked on. The host's shocked face materialized beside them, mic in hand. Before the host could speak, Jungkook's voice boomed through the silent chaos. "This is us. No more leaks, no more puppeteers." His eyes swept the galleries of cameras, capturing every angle. "I'm not ashamed of my fears. I'm proud of the progress I've made." Jimin stepped beside him, tone unwavering. "I am not broken. I am healing, and I will continue to heal, with your support." Their words hung in the air, defiant and unfiltered, as the broadcast rippled across screens worldwide. Behind the scenes, Ms. Han watched from the limits of the closed control room, fury and admiration warring in her gaze. She pressed a trembling hand to the glass. Outside the building, rain began to fall, each drop striking the pavement like a drumroll of consequences yet to come. And in that storm, Jimin and Jungkook found a new alliance, one forged in truth, defiance, and the courage to stand unmasked. But deep in the abandoned basement network hub, a solitary server blinked, its log quietly recording every second of their rebellion, ready for the next breach.